Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about what is the best diet or the best way to eat when you're on a GLP-1, Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, Mounjaro, or one of the compounds. I'm going to tell you what I eat, and we're going to go over the various types of diets, nutrition plans, etc. that you could choose from. So to start with, I'm going to ask you some questions. What types of diets have you tried in the past? Have they been successful? Have you been successful being able to maintain that way of eating? I'm sure most of us are pretty successful, probably multiple times in losing weight. It's the maintaining part that becomes the biggest challenge. And it's no different on a GLP-1. Sure, the GLP-1 absolutely gives us a leg up, helps to regulate our hormones, get our metabolic healing in place, appetite, satiety, that all definitely helps us. However, the maintaining part is still a challenge for many reasons. I've been now maintaining for over a year. It's a different mental place, and you have to go about it a little bit differently, and you also have to get over the fear of regaining the weight, since we've all done that before. So what are some of the diets that you've tried? There are so many out there, right? I've tried many of them. I've done Weight Watchers, keto, carnivore. I'll get into that one in another video because that one went very sideways for me. There's low fat, vegetarian, fruitarian, low carb. I'm sure many of you could probably relate and have done that, or maybe are doing it now. Well, they all do work, but the key component is being able to be consistent with it. So they all work to a certain extent. The key again is consistency. So you can do it and you lose weight, but then you fall off because you're like, I can't eat meat only, I need some carbs. That's normal and fine, and it can be healthy. The key is being able to choose a way to eat that you can adhere to long term. And while it's going to be a little bit restrictive because you have to be able to restrict some calories, which again, the GLP makes it a little bit easier to do that in order to lose weight. But once you hit that maintenance phase, then you can start eating a little bit more. Again, it's going to be the same foods though. So you're going to choose the foods and the way of eating that are personalized to you, your lifestyle, your behaviors, your favorite foods. With that being said, there are some basic principles that I believe if you adhere to these basic principles, you will heal your metabolism, you'll get healthier, you'll feel healthier, which is another huge thing. You need to be able to feel it as well. If you're eating really low calories and it's healthy, but you don't feel good, there's something off, then that's not right. So the basic principles that I personally have adhered to is higher protein, meaning how much protein? That's the big question people always ask. I target, and the latest studies and all the latest nutritionists, PhD folks out there are advocating for approximately 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal or target body weight. So if your ideal body weight is 130 pounds, then you should target 130 grams of protein. So I target about 110 grams of protein. I typically get in probably 140, 160 grams of protein a day. I also work out, so I build muscle, so it also is going towards that. Higher protein also means that your appetite will decrease. It is the most satiety producing macro out there, protein. So that's another benefit to having a higher protein. So I like the higher protein. For women who are over 35, 40, and you're starting to go through perimenopause and menopause and your hormones are decreasing, I also think a little bit of a lower carb is probably the way to go, at least initially. That's what I did. I kept my carbs on the lower side, my starchy carbs. Vegetables, go for it. Eat as many vegetables as you want. They are still carbohydrates, but you can eat as much as you want, and the fiber is really, really good for you. But I tried to really keep those starchy carbs to a minimum. What are the starchy carbs? Rice, oatmeal, potatoes, bread. I do try to stay away from bread only because I still find it kind of addictive. If I have some, I'm gonna probably want more. I'll have it on special occasions now, but it has to be really good bread to make it worth it. And now that I've been able to maintain my weight and my metabolism is more regulated and I have more muscle, I have incorporated more carbs into my diet. So I will have 2, 3, sometimes 4 higher carb days where I have more rice, potatoes, oatmeal, sushi in my diet, and it does not do anything to my weight. It actually gives me more energy to work out. I feel stronger, and it's amazing because in the past, when I didn't have this metabolic flexibility, I could eat that stuff and it would just pack the weight on, or I'd feel sluggish, or I just wouldn't feel good. So I advocate really trying to pay attention to how different foods make you feel. For example, when I used to have ice cream, which I love and haven't had in a while, I used to get a stomach ache. And I realized that, I don't know, there was something going on with that and it would give me some distress. So kind of stayed away from it. I don't know if that's still the case. I just haven't had it in a long time, but I knew that didn't make me feel good. So really pay attention to how different foods will make you feel. Okay, something else that's very popular, and I've actually incorporated this as well, is intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating. And the studies, I will tell you, the studies have shown that it doesn't make a difference. Those are the studies in terms of fat loss overall. With that being said, I do think that intermittent fasting can be extremely beneficial. I think it could make you pay more attention to what foods you're eating. I personally liked eating in a window. My window was generally like a 16-8. Sometimes I would narrow the window a little bit more depending on how I felt. But I liked having that narrow window and I'd still get all my calories in. I think it makes you pay attention to what you're eating, makes you a little bit more accountable, as well as I think it could also help to manage your blood glucose levels a little bit more. And especially when you're looking to lose weight, I think that's extremely helpful for insulin sensitivity. Again, especially when you're getting into that perimenopause, menopausal state, that is something that I think could be a good thing for some women. But again, if it's not something that you want to do or feel good about doing, you don't have to do it and you shouldn't do it. So, even now, sometimes I'll do it and other times I'm hungry in the morning and I will eat. What's key and important when you're intermittent fasting is what you're breaking your fast with. So I've known people who have broken their fast with cheesecake. Not the best thing. So I always break my fast with protein. Chicken, salmon, eggs, whatever it is. Protein and a fat is actually the best thing to break it with. Keeps me full, keeps my blood sugars steady. Even better if you could go outside and eat in sunlight. That's like a double whammy for decreasing appetite and also keeping your blood glucose on the lower side. So again, if intermittent fasting is something that you want to try, give it a try. If it's not something you want to do, you don't need to do it. All right, another thing that I am a huge fan of is food tracking. I have been tracking my food and weighing everything since probably about 6 weeks after I started a GLP-1. My weight started to slow down And I was like, what's going on? So I said, I'm going to start tracking. I've done it in the past. I didn't like it. It was kind of like, I don't really want to track, but I said, I really need it as a data point. I really need to know what I'm doing. So I started tracking, and it was definitely eye-opening. Because I was putting on dried fruit on my salad, I was just pouring salad dressing on, and I wasn't measuring it, and I literally found hundreds of calories that were easy to take away. And then I started dropping weight a lot faster. I didn't realize how many calories were in dried fruit, and I'm putting it on a healthy salad. So I thought it was fine, and it's fruit, but it's really that candied walnuts, love those, but high in calories. I do still have some, but not a lot. Cheese, that's another one. I measure my cheese out now, because you could just pour that cheese on. It tastes really good, but if you don't know how much you're putting on, literally you could be putting hundreds of calories between cheese, dried fruit, candied walnuts, salad dressing. You think that you're eating a tablespoon of peanut butter, but if you really saw what a tablespoon looks like, and it's about 100 calories, 110 calories, you would be shocked. I thought it was 100 calories, and I was doing a heaping tablespoon of peanut butter, and it was more like 250 calories. You could be eating 500, 600, 700 calories more than you think you're eating if you don't track and measure. You don't have to do it for the rest of your life. I definitely think it's good as a data point to know what you're eating, how much you're eating, get an idea, because then you can manipulate what you're eating. You can manipulate your diet, just like your budget. You track your finances, you figure out how much is going out the door to bills, how much you could save, where else you could put your money. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with calories. So look at it from that perspective. Be objective. Don't track and bash yourself over the head or blame yourself or feel bad about something. Don't be emotional about the tracking. Be objective and just factual and use it as a data point, and it really will be a game changer for you, I think. Now, the reason why I still track is it's easy. I got an app. There's free ones out there. I personally use myfitnesspal.com, the free version, but there's many others. And there's also paid versions that are excellent as well. It makes you accountable. It makes you think twice also. If you have to write it down, you're like, do I really need it or want it? And sometimes the answer is yes, but then you have to write all of that down and how much you eat. So I think it's a great way to go. All right, at the end of the day, whatever way you choose to eat, make sure that you are consistent. Because if you choose keto or low fat or low carb or whatever the case may be, you just want to be consistent. And you also want to make sure that you enjoy it. Yes, you actually can enjoy eating these foods. You can also enjoy bringing in some other foods that you wouldn't normally eat or that might be outside of that every once in a while. I do. But consistently for about 80% of the time, you want to make sure that you can adhere to it, you enjoy it, and you could pretty much do it forever. Again, once you hit your goal weight and your metabolism has adjusted and you're able to bring your calories back up, you can eat more food. Again, I ended my weight loss journey of losing over 50 pounds. I was only eating about 1,000 to 1,200 calories. Keep in mind, I'm only 5'1". I'm not a tall person. So eating that few calories isn't super unusual, but I was very hungry, even though I was on the GLP-1, and still am. I was really hungry, and I knew that it was not long-term sustainable, and I would have to bring my calories back up, which I did. And I'm currently eating about 1,800 to 2,000 calories, which in the past I would have absolutely gained weight on. But now I'm able to maintain my weight, which blows my mind. And if I can do it, you can do it. So my final thoughts on this, again, adhere to the diet that you enjoy the most, pick something that you can be consistent and adhere to, And if intermittent fasting or any of the other ways of eating works for you, go for it. I hope that you can get something out of this video, like, subscribe, and if you're looking for more support, go to my Facebook. I have a group there under Juls Wellness Warrior. It is a support group for weight loss, fitness, GLP. We are there to share experiences and create an encouraging, supportive, positive community. In my next video, I am going to go through my short stint with being a carnivore, why I did it, why I stopped doing it, what happened, and perhaps you might learn something from it. Stay strong.